Let's talk more about that audit committee. Remember from that chart, per SOX 2002, in order to address the issue of inadequate board oversight, public companies must have this audit committee. And that audit committee is responsible for the appointment, compensation, and oversight of the public accounting firm hired to audit the public company. So we've got companies such as what's a company? I'll change it up, use a different one I haven't used in a while. Let's say we've got Texas Roadhouse. It's a public company. Let's say you got Texas Roadhouse and EY is auditing them. So EY is going to be hired by Texas Roadhouse's audit committee. That's the relationship there. They're going to be making sure that EY is a reputable auditor. They're going to do their due diligence on EY, make sure that EY can properly audit them. Now, obviously, I'm mentioning big firms and they have their own reputations, but doesn't have to be one of the big four companies. It could be any audit firm if they're up to the job. Now, there are rules on that, not important for us. The audit committee does not need to have an internal auditor or an independent board of directors. Now, let's take a second at this. The board of directors is not going to be independent, and that's important to keep in mind. They have to be as independent as possible. However, they are fiduciaries for the organization. Their job is to act in the benefit of the company. So Texas Roadhouse's board of directors, while they need to be as independent as possible, they need to be in existence, right? They need to be there for the benefit of the company, of Texas Roadhouse. Right here, while the board of directors does not have to be independent, and they're actually considered fiduciaries, the members of the board who are on the audit committee must be otherwise independent. So their goal there is to act in the best interest of the company, right? Hire the best auditor, make sure they get the best audit done. So they may not accept compensation or be an affiliated person. You cannot be lacking independence in any other way. So there are rules with that, not that we have to worry about, but just what we need to know, they need to be as independent as possible. This means that while a company should have independent auditors, this means you don't need an independent auditor on the audit committee. Internal auditors, these are going to just be employees that work for the company that are constantly making sure that they're doing audit procedures within the company. So internal auditors, those are employees within the company. You can be hired as an internal auditor, right? You're just doing audit procedures. Now you're obviously not independent because you work for the company, and if the company pays your bills, then you're not independent. So you're just an internal auditor. You work for the company, and then you've got your external auditors who should be independent, who work for PwC, UI, etc. Per SOX 2002, audit committee members of an issuer are required to be independent and not required to be anything else. You may see that in some questions, so make sure you know that. Let's talk about the audit committee financial expert. So per SOX, public companies must have one or more of the members of the audit committee be a financial expert. And the issuer, meaning the public company, so let's say Texas Roadhouse, must disclose the existence of one or more financial experts on the audit committee or the reason or reasons why the committee does not have a financial expert. Now, we'll see questions that are going to say, oh, the audit committee has to have a financial expert who has tax experience, who has internal control experience. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in specific of what criteria you need to have in order to be a financial expert. Really, you just need to be familiar with GAAP, but we'll talk about that in a bit. We do not need to disclose that the financial expert is certified independent, their name, and if the financial expert confirmed the audit opinion. These are items that are not important, and those could be tricks that the exam tries to get you to fall for. Per SOX 2002, an audit committee financial expert must have, like we said here, they don't need to have experience with taxes, financial planning, and understanding of GAS, right? They need to have an understanding of GAAP because they're the ones preparing the financial statements. GAS, who needs to have knowledge of this? Well, your auditors, your external auditors, because GAS, generally accepted auditing standards, that's how the auditor's auditing Texas Roadhouse. GAAP is how Texas Roadhouse is preparing its financial statements. They do not need to have significant audit experience as a CPA. But what do they need to have? Well, they need to have experience with internal accounting controls through education or past experience. They need to have an understanding of GAAP and financial statements. That's the whole job. That's the whole purpose of what's going on here. So this one individual, this one person on the audit committee who is the designated financial expert, and there can be more than one person, but you need one. They need to have an understanding of the audit committee functions. What the heck is your job, right? Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you understand what the audit committee's purpose is. And they need to have an understanding of the application of accounting principles, kind of tying into the second point with GAAP. Now to make sure that we are familiar with all of these points. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.